Hello, 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 everybody. It is Saturday, October 24th, and this is Renee and the Truth Factor, and we do headlines here. Of course, my computer is still just crazy as can be. Um, our computer is giving us issues, but and y'all just don't know how hard it was I have one port that works. Say what, love? Yeah. I have one port that that works, so so that I could do my Wixit, I had to unplug the mouse, because the only thing you can do the Wixit site updates are on the computer. So I had to unplug the mouse, plug the keyboard in, unplug the mouse, plug the keyboard in. I'm telling you guys, it was really crazy. It was insane, but we made it through. We got all the headlines in the lineup already. And hey Harriet, hey Karen, how are you? How is everybody? I think I saw Drain. I think I saw him, or I don't know if he's still here. Yep, there he is. I did see him. He was thinking of me earlier. Okay, good thoughts, I hope. How are you, Miss Helen? And again, for those who didn't get to watch yesterday's show, we we do headlines every day at 5, but because Matthew's birthday is today, or well, it was actually Wednesday, but we're having the party today, and we're having it at 5:30, so that kind of would cut into the festivities, so we're doing it early, and then we'll have we should have Bible study probably on time or something like that. We'll see how long the party goes, but we will have Bible study tonight, just so you know, just having headlines early. We are going to go ahead. There are a couple of links in the description box that are not in the Wixit site, but there are, I told you guys that we were going to talk about earthquake preparedness a little bit today, and then I do have headlines, so it's not just going to be about earthquakes. I have some headlines and things for everybody. Nothing extremely exciting. There was a breaking news update that I got, and I don't know if there's an updated article to it, but we will go back and check after we did this little earthquake stuff. Okay, so the first site I found was ready.gov, and it says earthquakes. An earthquake is a sudden rapid shaking of the ground. Yep, caused by the shifting of rocks deep underneath the Earth's surface. Earthquakes can cause fires, tsunamis, landslides, or avalanches. While they can happen anywhere without warning, areas at higher risk for earthquakes include Alaska, California, Hawaii, Oregon, Puerto Rico, Washington, and the entire Mississippi River Valley. You notice they said the entire Mississippi River Valley? Huge area, guys. It says prepare before an earthquake. The best time to prepare for any disaster is before it happens. Practice. Drop, cover, and hold on with family and coworkers. Make an emergency plan. Create a family emergency communication plan, and that has an out-of-state contact. Plan where to meet if you get separated. Make a supply kit that includes enough food and water for several days. A flashlight, a fire extinguisher, and a whistle. And, a lot of people would probably think automatically to have a whistle, but you would never, when you're making up your little thingy, you just never know what you're going to miss. But the whistle is in case you get buried in, and you can blow and people can hear you. Also, if you get lost, it's good to have the whistle. People will hear you blow it. Protect your home. Secure heavy items in your home like bookcases, refrigerators, televisions, and objects that hang on the walls. Store heavy and breakable objects on low shelves. Consider making improvements to your building to fix structural issues that could cause your building to collapse during an earthquake. Consider obtaining an earthquake insurance policy. A standard homeowner insurance policy does not cover earthquake damage. Okay, well, I didn't know that. Now we do. I do want to say that I hope people that, live in these earthquake zones already have their heavy items really already, because you don't get an earth like we get, tsunami warnings. We have the time to go, or hurricanes. We have the time to go, and tsunami not so much, but earthquake. I mean, not an earthquake, but a hurricane. You have time to go and prepare, board up your house, and all that good stuff. But with an earthquake, you just never know. It just happens, unless you watch Dutch, and then Dutch will give you like a week ahead of time, or a couple of days sometimes, to prepare, because he gives you his predictions and things of that nature. So hope everybody watches Dutch if you can, Dutch Sense. Anyway, so I didn't know that there wasn't earthquake insurance, but it's kind of probably like flooding insurance. You always have to buy an extra an underwriter or whatever. Okay, so it says stay safe during. If an earthquake happens, protect yourself right away. If you're in a car, pull over and stop. Set your braking park. If you're in a bed, turn face down and cover your head and neck with a pillow. If you're outdoors, stay outdoors, away from buildings. If you're inside, stay and do not run outside, and avoid doorways. Protect yourself during earthquakes. It says drop, cover, and hold on. And here is their little, don't know if you guys will be able to see this. Of course, this is, maybe. Okay. Yeah. Kind of too much of a glare. I don't know if Papa, Abby, see if she can hear me. Using a cane, drop, cover, and hold on. Using a walker, lock it, cover, and hold on. And I love their little things here. Yeah, will you turn that light on? You got too much light. Hopefully that'll, there we go. No, still didn't help, but a little bit. There we go. And then if you're in a wheelchair, kind of same concept as the walker, lock it, take cover, and hold on. Stay safe after an earthquake. There can be serious hazards such as damage to the building, leaking gas and water lines, or down power lines. Expect aftershocks to follow the main shock of an earthquake. Be ready to drop, cover, and hold on if you feel an aftershock. If you are in a damaged building, go outside and quickly move away from the building. Do not enter a damaged building. If you are trapped, protect your mouth, nose, and eyes from dust. Send a text, bang on a pipe or wall, or use a whistle instead of shouting to help rescuers locate you. If you're in that area that may experience tsunamis, go inland or to higher ground immediately after the shaking stops. And it says check yourself to see if you are hurt and help others if you have the training. And again, and everybody needs to know that preparations for every little thing is different. Like preparations for fire or drop and roll, and preparations for a tornado is, if you have a basement, go to your basement, go to your inner rooms, go get in a bathtub, put a mattress over you if you have to, just all kinds of stuff. So there's something different for everything. So this I had never even looked at. That was the main reason for doing it. I hope this information is helpful to those that don't know or haven't known this information. And then we also have earthquake safety checklist. And I'm not really going to go through it, guys. It's basically the same type of checklist for everything else. I just really wanted you guys to have it. So now we're going to get into headlines. I know y'all just, it's a good start. Yep. Okay. So let's cover some of these crazy headlines. Okay. So San Francisco, this is from Zero Man. San Francisco Tech CEO emails 10 million customers urging them to vote for Bluto. Yep, you heard it right. We've got these big corporations, trying to use their muscle here. offering yet another reminder of just how far removed the historical hyper-liberalism of San Francisco and the Bay Area is from the normal American political baseline. The CEO of Expensify, one of the world's largest providers of expense account software, recently emailed all 10 million users of the firm's software pleading with them to vote for your very special person, Bluto, Big Bluto. According to Bloomberg, the ideal elicited a strong debate within the company, which is based in San Francisco, with some employees disagreeing with the gesture. But CEO David Barrett, the driving force behind the message, said he decided to press ahead and hit send. We need to stand true for what we believe, and I hope that most people agree with us, Barrett said in an interview. It's not like we did this with a lot of enthusiasm. We did this out of a perceived necessity. They did it because they just cannot. Hi, Josh. How are you, hon? And how is your lovely wife? Did this because they're crazy and they just absolutely positively hate Trump. I was watching. I don't know if Karl Rove. Was Karl Rove on Hannity or was he on Tucker, honey? Okay, so we were watching Tucker and Hannity, the reruns last night. And I want to make a comment about what Karl Rove said. And I wasn't even thinking about everything that he said, but a lot of people probably don't realize this. But if they go completely green with their Green Deal, and they get rid of all emissions, they get rid of all fracking, we get rid of gas and oil and everything, a lot of people are going to be sitting in the dark. Karl Rove put this out. You know, it's not just your taxes that are going to go up, but if they, move to eliminate all this fracking and using gas and everything that they want to do, a lot of people are going to be sitting in the dark. He pointed it out. Lovely. I mean, if you think about it, there's not going to be enough power. You know, you don't necessarily get enough power from the wind turbines, and again, you don't get enough power from solar. And we can already see the disaster and the fiasco we have in California. So, you know, and it does take gas to help, keep most of these grids running. So a lot of people would be sitting in the dark, So not only are you going to lose a lot of money, and, they keep saying that they're going to only hit the people with $400,000, but that is absolutely positively a lie, because he's already said he's going to undo the president's tax credit that he's given all of us. So if he undoes that, guess what? That undoes what we've gotten. So I hope people are paying attention to every little thing. Anyway, if you get a chance, I would go check out and see if you could find the rerun. I want to say it was on Hannity, but it could have been on Tucker. So it was on one of those two if you didn't watch it. It was rather interesting. And I'm not a big Karl Rove fan, but what he had to say was on point. Okay, so then we have from also Zero Man, the U.S. signs a commitment with Israel to uphold the military edge over Gulf states. So potential F-35 sales to the Gulf states have driven the U.S. officials to take extra steps to guaranteeing Israel's military superiority over its neighbors, known as the Qualitative Military Edge, the QME. On Thursday, Secretary of Defense Mark Esper and Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz met at the Pentagon and signed a joint declaration affirming Washington's commitment to ensure Israel's QME. I want to state again how committed we are to Israel's qualitative military edge when it comes to defense sales and our commitment to Israel's security, which has been long-standing and it's guaranteed and ironclad, Esper said. Details of the declaration are not clear, and it may be largely symbolic since maintaining Israel's QME is already mandated by the U.S. law. A source from the meeting told the Jerusalem Post that an agreement was formulated to further Israeli acquisitions of U.S. weapons. The U.S. sale of F-35 jets to the UAE that is rumored to be part of the Abu Dhabi's normalization agreement with Israel was initially objected to by Israeli officials, but now Israel could be angling to get some new weapons out of the deal. In September, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu submitted a wish list of advanced weaponry to President Trump worth $8 billion. The F-35 sale has met resistance in Congress, with upholding Israel's QME being a top priority on both sides of the aisle. A group of bipartisan lawmakers introduced a bill in the House that would effectively give Israel veto powers over U.S. arms sales to the Middle East, which I don't think that's a good thing. She's sore but doing good. Okay. Thank you, Josh, for that update. I'm so glad to hear that. I have continued to keep you guys in my prayers. My heart just really goes out to you guys. It really, truly does. So you have no power. So we would have no power in the winter sometimes. Yep. That's it. That's exactly it, Helen. And I don't think a lot of people were thinking about, the utility part of it. I know I sure didn't. I really, truly did not. But if you really sit down and you think about it, yeah, you could be without power. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, if people don't start thinking about the bigger picture instead of, just their stupidity and their hatred. I don't want to say stupidity, but they're just their need to hate bad orange man. It's ridiculous. They need to start thinking with their head. They're going to put themselves in a bad position, and not everybody can afford electric cars. Just saying. And that's what would happen if we got rid of gas, right? You'd have to have an electric car if you wanted to get around. So a lot of people would be stuck at home. Yep. What, baby? Okay, we'll tell her to get out of your room. You want me to come? I'm live, and then I'll come. Papa! Yes, he is. That's exactly it. Exactly, Helen. Saudi Arabia, this is from Zero Man, as we call him. Saudi Arabia is suffering the consequences of its failed oil price war. Well, I think that they should. We've got 9 months on from Saudi Arabia's second major oil price war in the last 5 years. More negative consequences are manifesting themselves. Aside from the irrevocable damaged core relationship with the U.S., the permanent distrust of international investors, and the further alienation of many of its fellow OPEC members, Saudi Arabia is now beginning to discover the true depth and the breadth of the damage that has been done to its own economy, which will endure for many years to come. And I think that they should. It says, moreover, in the second quarter of 2020 alone, the kingdom's petroleum refining activities recorded a 14% year drop. All of that resulted in the current account deficit of the SRA, $67.4 billion, which is 18 billion or 12% of the GDP. It says in the Q22, compared with the surplus of the SRA, 42.9 billion or 5.8% of the GDP the year earlier. That's a huge difference there, guys. It would have been entirely understandable to the senior Saudis with whom Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the MBS, had shared his plan to try to destroy and or disable the U.S. shale oil sector again, albeit with exactly the same strategy that had failed so disastrously just 4 years earlier, that the new oil price war would be put on hold. This, though, would have required self-control, introspection, and intelligent analysis, the lack of which the MBS was noted by, among many others, the German intelligence service, the Anarch-Tendentist, that's a long word, guys, as long as the BND, as long as 2015. Trying to strengthen its own position in the royal succession, regardless of whether this put Saudi Arabia relationship with erstwhile regional allies in jeopardy. Moreover, there is no sign whatsoever of any change anytime soon to the massive supply overhang that began in earnest with the Saudi-led crude oil overproduction at the same time as the faster spread of COVID-19. This is not likely to improve in the coming weeks, as despite the reduction in Saudi's official selling prices for Asia for September and October deliveries, refineries continue to struggle with suppressed oil products margins. Saudi has little choice but to start contemplating selling the family silver, metaphorically speaking. Yeah, well, they should. I have no pity for them because they created this mess. They really did. In a sum, it appears that all Aramco's principal projects aimed at diversifying Saudi Arabia away from the relatively zero added value pursuit of just pumping and selling crude oil are now subject to review and an outright suspension. Yep. Then we have from Zero Man. To save people from the COVID, Puerto Rico shuts down 911 call centers. Did y'all hear about this yet? I think this is just absurd myself. That's it, guys. It says to save people from COVID, Puerto Rico shuts down their 911 call centers. Are you ready for this absurdity? Here's our Friday roll-up of the most ridiculous stories from around the world that are threats to your liberty, risk to your prosperity, and an occasion. Inspiring poetic justice. Yes, ma'am. I know it's let's see, can you see it? Hopefully. Yep. And again, this article is in the Wixit, and there is a link to it in the description box. People are crazy. All I can say. Are you ready for this? Here's your Friday. Yep. Okay. Puerto Rico has 2 centers which field 911 emergency calls for the islands. This week, both of those call centers were shut down because employees tested positive for the COVID. The government instead of instructed residents of Puerto Rico to call an alternate 10-digit number if they need an emergency assistance. Puerto Rico is not known for having the most efficient government, but seriously, this was the best solution they could think of. They couldn't find a replacement workers, a temporary facility, or simply reroute 911 calls to the emergency number they now advise calling. That's COVID craze for you. If shutting down 911 saves just one life, it's worth it. Surely, there won't be any unintended consequences from shutting off the emergency phone number drilled into our heads since childhood. Coronavirus funds end up in Brazilian senator's butt. The president of Brazil recently celebrated the end of the corruption in the country, but one of its allies must not have received that memo. Police raided Brazilian senator's home over the evidence that he diverted coronavirus response funds from the government to criminal enterprises. Some of the money alleged ended up in the senator's pocket, or more accurately, his butt. During the raid, the senator was caught hiding over 30,000 reais, over $5,000 in his underpants between his butt cheeks. You can't make this stuff up, guys. Facebook fights fake news, an obviously satirical newspaper. The Babylonian Bee is a gem of satirical news websites with headlines such as "Nation longs for more civilized age when politicians settle disputes with pistols." And to improve the next debate, both candidates' mics will be muted the entire time. That's just hysterical, isn't it? Last week, we talked about the Twitter mob, and the dictionary decided that the phrase sexual preference was offensive after Amy Coney Barrett used it during her Supreme Court Senate hearings. Commenting on this Senate witch hunt to find something wrong with the judge, the Babylon Bee ran a headline that said, "Senator Hirono demands ACB be weighed against a duck to see if she's a witch." It's a reference to a joke from 1970 film, The Monty Python and the Holy Grail. But Facebook said that it was incitement to violence, insinuating that the article could make people want to burn witches. People are crazy. Facebook demonetized the Babylon Bee until it edits the article, but the Babylon Bee has refused to edit the satirical article. Looks like the fake news is speaking a little too much truth for Facebook. Now it's offensive to work hard. This summer, the tax-funded KIPP charter schools decided to retire the slogan, work hard, be nice, because it supports the illusion of mediocrity. You can't make this stuff up, guys. KIPP leadership thinks it's wrong to tell kids that hard work is all it will take to be successful because there is something else standing in their way. Working hard and being nice is not going to dismantle systematic racism, reads the KIPP website. Explaining the decision to nix the old motto. The new religion of wokeness preaches that everyone is helpless victim. No amount of hard work will get you ahead. KIPP hasn't released a new slogan yet, but maybe they'll try. Seize the means of production. Execute the burgos. San Diego School District abolishes grades to combat racism. Students in San Diego schools will no longer have to do homework to turn in assignments or take tests because none of it will count toward a grade anyway. Instead, teachers will decide if a student has mastered the material. How will the teacher make this determination without some kind of test? Well, there aren't any details on that yet. But surely it will be less systematically racist than an A, B, or C letter grade. Pennsylvania restaurant that opened in violation of lockdown, not guilty. A Pennsylvania restaurant opened to full capacity in May in defiance of Pennsylvania's lockdown orders and safety procedures. The restaurant was cited and fined, but they went to court and pleaded not guilty. Last week, the judge found in the restaurant's favor, saying the Department of Agriculture fined the restaurant for violations it could not lawfully cite them for. Well, of course they couldn't. There's no laws. The Twitter mob, angry that the white Israeli actress will play a Macedonian Greek. The Twitter mob erupted over the decision to cast a white Israeli to play the Cleopatra in an upcoming film. The mob says the movie is a whitewashing history since early Egyptian princesses should be played by a black actress, right? Well, actually, Cleopatra was a Macedonian Greek heritage, and she ruled Egypt before the Arab conquest. So that means Cleopatra was either Arab nor black. But why should facts get in the way of wokeness? Once again, ignorance prevails. And I think we talked about this. I don't know if we did or not. I might have talked over it with my mom. But yeah, I saw that article. It was going around on Twitter not too long ago. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so then we have Zero Man again. Harriet's so sad. What is Harriet sad for, babe? Don't be sad. We can't be sad. No sadness here. MG 300 blackout. There was a blackout in Boston, I heard, the other day. YouTube is selling so many political ads, it has run out of videos to place them on. While social media makes its best attempt to trying to get Big Bluto elected by censoring stories about his son, YouTube is facing another dilemma. The platform is so inundated with political ads, it has nowhere to put them. And advertising campaigns flood the platform. YouTube has struggled to place the ads in front of the desired audience for each, according to Bloomberg. Interestingly enough, YouTube has experienced the shortage most in critical swing states, where ad prices have doubled as a result. This obviously makes political advertising far more lucrative for Google, who saw the revenue fall this year and will announcing its earnings next week. So they're just all about trying to save face right now. At some point, YouTube has been unable to place up to 75% of the amount that people are willing to spend. Yep. So it's all about making Benjamins now, and they're trying to save face, and so they're taking in all the political ads they can, but they don't even have enough places to put them. Yep. Sounds like somebody's in trouble there. We also have from Zero Man. I'm not going to read this. I am going to drop this here, but it's a opt from Zero Man. It says How to Steal an Election, Part 3, the Offensive Information Suppression Endgame. It is a great read, and I know that I don't think I have part 1 and 2. I think I do have part 1 somewhere. But this here, The lovely thing about this is it has part 1 and part 2 in it. So all you got to do is click on those links. So it's all there. Anyway, let's go on. Then we have from Daily Mail that our Popeye, Commander Popeye, made his cast his ballot for himself today in Florida. He made a joke, said, you know, tried to make it like he was casting for somebody else, but he mentioned his name, so, you know. Anyway, he has voted in person, which is awesome. Yesterday, this had broke, I want to say right after Bible last night, or it was right before. Anyway, this there was a video of a U.S. Navy aircraft that crashed into an Alabama house and killed 2 pilots. This is from Sputnik News, guys. A U.S. Navy aircraft crash southeast of Mobile, Alabama, has resulted in the death of at least 2 people, according to the statements provided by local authorities. No civilians were injured on the ground, the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office said of the Magnolia Spring crash on Twitter Friday evening. 2 individuals, presumably the U.S. Navy pilots, were confirmed dead following the crash. Baldwin County, Magnolia Springs, is approximately 35 miles from Florida's Naval Air Station, Pensacola, and less than 48 miles from the ST Engineering, the location of the U.S. President Trump's Friday night campaign rally. Video footage and images from the scene have emerged on social media. And the video says it has contained language, so we're not going to play it, but there is a video here if you guys want to take a look at it. And I want to show you this one picture. I don't know if, like I said, hopefully you'll see it. You can see the aerial view, the houses with the tarps, I guess obviously affected from the hurricane, but there's that house that just got took out by the plane. Horrible, guys. Wow. Absolutely horrible. Okay. Then we have, again, from Zero Man, we have PG&E may cut power to nearly 500,000 of California residents because of wildfire risk surges. Again, guys, it seems like I just don't know that having your power cut off every, so often is worth staying in such a state. I just don't think I could do that. Utility Pacific Gas and Electric meteorology team warned Friday that one of the strongest offshore wind events of the fire season could arrive in Northern California beginning Sunday. Ahead of the wind event, PG&E may be forced to cut power to hundreds of thousands of customers to avoid trees and branches from blowing into power lines, sparking fires. PG&E said more than 466,000 customers across 38 counties, mainly situated in northern and central California, could risk potential power shutoffs as early as Sunday morning. The outages could disrupt large swaths of the San Francisco Bay Area. The Sierra, guys, let me get it together here. Sierra Nevada foothills, the Central Valley, and the Central Coast. Extremely dry wind conditions with high gusts pose an increased risk for damage to the electric system that has the potential to ignite fires in areas with critically dry vegetation, the power company said. So, again, get prepared for this shutdown in your neck of the woods, MG, if you're still here. And Miss Carol, I will keep you guys in my thoughts and prayers. Like I said, it's just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I am going to follow that up with the fire from End Time Headlines. Colorado fire grows by over 100,000 acres in one day, hits the Rocky Mountain National Park. Already battling the largest fire in state history, Colorado is now dealing with another blaze that grew by more than 100,000 acres in a day. The flames traveled east, fueled by beetle-eaten pine trees and dry winds. Hundreds evacuated. The fire jumped the Continental Divide. Conditions forced the closing of Rocky Mountain National Park. The fire caused The fire, called East Troublesome after a nearby creek, has spread to more than 125,000 acres. Smoke plumes stretched 40,000 feet in the air. The nearby town of Grand Lake was forced to evacuate. East Troublesome is now the fourth largest wildfire in Colorado records. It started on October 14th, but overnight Wednesday is quadrupled in size. The growth that you see on the fire is unheard of, Grand County Sheriff Brett Shorten said during a Thursday press conference. We planned for the worst. This is the worst of the worst. And no matter how we look at it, we can't control Mother Nature. The cause is under investigation. 3 of the 5 largest fires in Colorado history are from 2020. The state has battled its largest fire in the history of more than 2 months just west of Fort Collins. The fire named Cameron Peak continues to burn and has spread to about 207,000 acres. It is 55% contained. Again, keep our dear friend JR in your thoughts and prayers, guys. Okay. Then we have from Zero Man, the BL, Wimpies, we're going to call them Wimpies, protesters are called for defending San Bernardino police after an officer kills an armed Wimpy suspect. The nationwide fervor that drove millions of white college students into the streets to protest systematic racism and police brutality has since cooled, probably because one of those dust-settled, most normal people have a second to survey the facts and realize that thousands of unarmed black men actually aren't being killed by police every year in the U.S. The real figure is closer to 9. But that hasn't stopped a core contingent of BLM protesters from carrying on with their radical demands to defund police, seizing on every police-involving shooting regardless of circumstances to create chaos and to push their radical agenda. So again, and we talked about the incident yesterday. There is this video, but again, I don't know that it would play right. Just so much stuff going on, guys, and our poor, they're just polarizing every little thing that happens. Whether they and they don't put out the complete story, they just put out what best fits their narrative. Yeah. Then we have from Zero Hedge. This is another one that I really am not going to read, but I just wanted to let you guys know that Zero Man says to save the stock market, the feds are threatening the destruction of trillions in middle class and retirement. And this is an article for those that, might be probably, have some kind of retirement setup or something. It says, but if you dig deeper, you'll see the Fed is unintentionally worsening the economic inequality by providing the most help to the Americans who are the least in need of it. And it is also putting stress on the middle class, most important asset, retirement benefits. So again, this is about your retirement package. Let's see, but those moves are hurting prudent savers of modest means by greatly reducing the income they can earn on Treasury securities and other no-risk investments, such as bank certificates of deposit. That tends to drive people seeking income into the stock market where the capital is at risk. By contrast, if you buy Treasury security, you're sure getting your money back when the security comes due, even though the security market value will fluctuate both up and down while you hold it. Anyway, so this is an article for people. I know Drain, he plays a lot with money and stuff, so. And let's see. Then we also have from Daily Mail, furious liberals demand CNN fire Obama advisor Van Jones for saying Popeye doesn't get credit for the good things he has done for the black community. Now I ask you, is that really a statement to get fired for? Why are we so quick to fire somebody because they say something decent about our president? Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I think it's just it's sad. Absolutely disgusting that they want to fire Van Jones because he said that, he doesn't get enough credit for the good things that he does. But yeah, that's how sick these people are. They can't stand anyone even giving a credit. He did nothing for the black community. Absolutely nothing, Carol. You know this. But that's the whole point, though. We can't go having there be that star of a comparison, made out there on mainstream media. We can't tell the truth, That doesn't fit their propaganda. That doesn't fit their narrative. We're giving them, they're giving them Trump votes. Anyway, the wimpy terrorists take over Trader Joe's store in Seattle and demand 15% at least of the store profits be given over to the black community. Now you tell me that does not sound like it is mafia style criminal activity there. Let's put the squeeze on the business so we get our cut. That's exactly what this is. It's absolutely just ridiculous. It says a video tweeted Thursday night shows a large group of the wimpy activists entering a Seattle Trader Joe's store. They chanted and beat drums as they marched through the grocery chain location. The merchants chanted demands that the store donate 15% at least to the black community. They went on to harass customers and store employees, demanding they join the cause earlier this month. The BLM activists invaded another Trader Joe's in Seattle by forcing their way through the door. I'm sorry, but I think I would lock my doors and I close my shop down if I had to. I'm not giving my money away for no reason. They need to go out and work if they want it. Hey, Tom, how are you? We have another article here from Daily Mail. And this one is about Big Bluto's brother, Jay Bluto, emailed H. Bluto with a list of key targets, including Andrew Cuomo, Chuck Schumer, and Rick Scott for their investment venture with the Chow businessmen. That's right. Big Bluto, brother of Jay Bluto, wrote a 2017 wish list of possible business contacts for their new venture, according to the New York Post. A list that included prominent Democrats, Republican world leaders, and international business people. What? The list was reportedly sent in an email to Tony Bobulinski, H. Bluto's former business partner in a failed Chow investment venture. At the time the email was supposedly sent, Big Bluto was the former very special person, a private citizen who had not yet declared his intention to run for office. Big Bluto is not mentioned in his brother's emails, the Post reported. The Blutos and the Bobulinski had formed a company to partner with another firm, headed by the Chow's energy tycoon, on global and or domestic projects involving infrastructure, energy, financial services, and other strategic sectors, the documents obtained by the Post reportedly showed. I think that, a lot of stuff is still coming out. I think it's going to come out, trickle out. What they plan on doing with all of it, I don't know. I hope they do something. My main concern is that they need to stop with all this political crap. They need to take care of those children if there was any kind of, foul play with children. And that's what we're going to say. Oh wow! I just got a breaking thing from Weather Channel. We're gonna get to the breaking news over here in just a second. Let's see. We also have From End Time Headlines, COVID-19 could reach 500,000 by February. Fauci warns national mask mandate may be needed. The U.S. death toll from COVID-19 could surpass 500,000 by February unless nearly all Americans wear face masks, researchers said on Friday. As 14 states set new records for one-day increase in infections, the latest estimate by the widely cited University of Washington's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation reflects fears that cold winter weather will drive Americans indoors where the virus is more likely to spread. So be prepared. I believe they're going to really start trying to push this mask crap, vamp it up. Just be aware of that, guys. And then again, we have from Now the End Begins. In a UN rebuke, Popeye administration leads a 32-nation signing ceremony of the declaration that states there is no international right to abortion. I think that's huge, guys. Abortion is not health care. Sovereign nations have the right to protect their most vulnerable citizens, including the unborn, and to be free from bullying and coercive efforts to expand abortion on demand. From day one, our commander Popeye and his administration has worked to stop the exportation of abortion, making respect for life the official policy of the United States and in international relations. We join our friends around the world in celebrating this landmark declaration, which builds on Popeye's administration commitment to promote authentic human rights and dignity at every turn. I think that's huge, guys. I applaud our commander-in-chief. I think it's huge. There's just no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Okay, guys. Now I had some breaking things come out. We're going to... we don't care about what he says. I saw something from... Oh, I forget I have the Weather Channel. I got the update thingy in my...
When your days feel too busy, we can help.
Okay, guys. Come on. Well. Talks about the Colorado wildfires taking a turn. I can't find the story that just flashed up on my thing. Oh, wow. Okay, looky here, guys. Apparently, there is a hurricane. It's at a Category 1, it looks like. Has anybody else seen this? Hurricane Central. It's a 1 hitting Halifax. And it looks like it's probably going to hit Boston and can you see that? Let me see if I can get an article on that, guys. I see it on the radar map. Hopefully y'all can see that. Let me see if I can find it. See. Oh, and they're talking about another Caribbean tropical disturbance likely to develop. Let's see. We kind of already... They're talking millions in California is what the... Let me see. Here we go.